and they were pretty popular. I quite enjoyed doing it because I kind of learn about things and see amazing things at the same time you guys do. So for those who don't know what Google Earth is, it's a online, think of it as like a kind of interactive encyclopedia of the Earth. You can go anywhere in the Earth. It's got guides to certain things as well, to learn about things. In the past I've done like a tour of London, I've done stuff about James Bond films, bridges of the world, things like that, which are all really cool, and it's just a really interesting kind of website, and it's totally free to go along to and have a look at. So I thought with that in mind I'd do another video, and I saw something here which caught my eye, which was about dinosaurs. Travel the globe to uncover evidence that might explain why dinosaurs suddenly disappeared from our planet. So for those who don't know, for those who aren't perhaps creationists, because I don't think it really works out with what you believe, but dinosaurs were basically the top, like, they were the human beings of their time, okay? And then all of a sudden they just died off. So they were the main mammal. All these different types of dinosaurs roamed all around the Earth, but then all of a sudden they just died off. And then many thousands of years later, maybe even hundreds of thousands of years later, humans came about. So there was never a time where there was a crossover between dinosaurs and humans or anything like that, contrary to what some films kind of put out there. And to this day it's still a kind of mystery as to why the dinosaurs did die off. There's lots of different theories, the kind of main one being about a meteorite hitting the Earth, which caused all sorts of issues, blocking out the dust that raised, blocking out the sun, causing plant life to die off, which meant that these big animals, the herbivores, couldn't feed and they died off, which then meant the carnivores died off, and this happened over quite a long period of time, but in the history of the world it would have been quite a short period of time. But anyway, let's see what the day the dinosaurs died has to say. So millions of years ago, as dinosaurs great and small roamed the Earth, then they suddenly vanished. The fate has been a long-standing scientific mystery. Explore the evidence from around the world that finally explain the disappearance of these giant reptiles. So let's explore. There's 17 different places to go to. The first one here is in Mammoth, North Dakota in the USA. Disappearing dinosaurs. Dinosaur fossils have been found all over the world and show that dinosaurs were once a thriving group of animals, but about 66 million years ago they all seemed to disappear. What could have caused such a sudden and widespread extinction? This location shows the Hell Creek Formation, which ranges across parts of North and South Dakota, Montana, and Wyoming. The sediments here were deposited near the end of the Cretaceous period and have yielded hundreds of dinosaur fossils. Okay, there's a little video here which I'll attempt to play with no sound, but we've got subtitles. Understanding how we decipher a great historical event written in the books of rocks may be as interesting as the event itself. So obviously archaeologists over the years have long pondered about dinosaurs and what might have been if this supposed catastrophic event never happened. But picture a world of giant reptiles, flying pterosaurs with 40-foot wingspans, while beneath the waves fierce predators called mosasaurs prowl the seas. And dinosaurs roam the land. Suffice to say, if human beings did exist during the time of dinosaurs, we would have been killed off pretty darn quickly. And then they were gone, lost in the shadows of time. It's crazy to think that, at the time of the dinosaurs, 66 million years ago on this planet, the planet was just this incredibly different place, and it just seems bizarre to think about all these, what we think of as like terrifying animals all around. The Katy boundary in Gubbio, Italy, Earth's geologic history is divided into distinct time intervals marked by animal extinctions or widespread environmental change. The boundary that marks the end of the dinosaurs is between the Cretaceous K and Tertiary rock layers. One of the clues to the fate of the dinosaurs came from Gubbio, Italy. From the highway outside of Gubbio, look at the rock formation on the sides of the canyon. The layers you see were deposited on the seafloor millions of years ago. So what they're saying is these layers, I guess, are what kind of allowed them to date, when the dinosaurs just suddenly died off. So this would have been a seafloor, I guess, as it kind of says, all those millions and millions of years ago. It's kind of awesome to look at. It's Gubbio. Where we go next? We're going to Zumaya, Spain. The KT boundary around the world. Evidence of world-changing event at the KT boundary is bolstered by scientific sediments and fossils in boundary deposits at different locations around the world. This site is on the Atlantic coast of Spain. The vertical layers were once on the bottom of the ocean and were deposited around the same time as the cliffs outside of Gubbio, Italy. Moreover, these rocks, which were deposited in a different sea than the rocks in Gubbio, contain the same mysterious clay layer separating the Cretaceous and Tertiary deposits. So they're saying, if you think about, all this builds up over time, and then there's this mysterious clay layer between Cretaceous and Tertiary. Cretaceous being when the dinosaurs were around, and then Tertiary when the dinosaurs weren't around. So something happened in that clay layer that caused the dinosaurs to die off. I didn't see if we got a video last time, but let's have a look at this one. So I guess this is a video of that on the Atlantic coast outside the town of Zumaya. Dutch geologist Jan Schmidt was studying the forams from a different ancient sea. Their fossilised shells formed these limestone rocks which, like Gubbio's mountains, were once at the bottom of the ocean. Now exposed, they represent over 1 million years of geological time period known as the Cretaceous. I keep saying crustaceous. Like Alvarez in Italy, Smith had also found a strange clay layer formed at the same time, which told a dramatic story. Jan, what can we tell about Earth's history from just looking at these rocks? Where you can see the end of one world and the beginning of the next one. And you see there is a very sharp, extremely sharp dividing line between the two. Yeah, you can see it there, can't you? If you look, you see razor sharp, and all the reddish maroon rock. The oceans are healthy and steaming along. They're healthy and steady. They don't change at all, and all of a sudden we see a dramatic change, which we call the KT boundary. So this here, the KT boundary found at the bottom of the grey layer marks not only the end of a period, the Cretaceous, but also of the Mesozoic era, a much longer stretch of time. History of animal life on Earth has been divided into 3 such eras: early life, or Paleozoic, the age of dinosaurs, or Mesozoic, and the era of mammals, or Cenozoic, which I guess is what we're in now. The Cretaceous-Tertiary boundary lies right in between the 2 eras, marked here by this layer of clay. What drew you to this boundary, Jan? Well, sure, there we're looking here at the very topmost rocks of the Cretaceous. These rocks are literally packed with something or other, and we call this the Cretaceous, and these rocks here are the Tertiary. And the base of the Tertiary consists of a dark grey clay layer, and there the life has almost disappeared. And the KT boundary is just in between. I can point at it. It's right here where you see a contrast between the purple and the dark. An extremely sharp boundary. And just across that thin little boundary, there's this huge change in what you see in the forums, and why is this so stunning to you? There. So it doesn't matter if I take a piece here or a piece there or just underneath. What we call the KT boundary, the foam don't change overnight, and then bang, they're gone. So what's that tell you? That tells you the base of the food chain of the oceans disappeared, and that everything which is dependent on it is totally zapped right at the boundary. So, yeah, seems to kind of like suggest that there was just this sudden catastrophic event. Fascinating to think what the world would be like if there wasn't that sudden catastrophic event. Based on the unusually high concentration of iridium, an element found in meteorites at the KT boundary, scientists hypothesized that an asteroid impact may have caused the extinction of the dinosaurs. They even calculated the size of the asteroid based on the amount of iridium observed. This site is a dinosaur national monument on the border between Colorado and Utah, US. It was an ancient river system that brought together remains of many types of dinosaurs. Okay. So here I guess is like a simulation of the asteroid hitting the Earth. And it would have to have been a pretty big asteroid to bring about, I guess, such a catastrophic change in the in life on Earth. And I mean, if that asteroid hadn't hit, it's probably safe to say humans wouldn't exist nowadays. Nothing you know would be the same. You wouldn't exist nowadays. It's fascinating about chance, and you know that we haven't had a meteorite hit since, and I don't know if we had one hit before, but that's kind of crazy to think that that was a thing. Kind of puts everything into perspective somewhat when you think that as much as you can believe that you have some choice and say in the universe as to how you live, everything could just be wiped out in a second, and you really wouldn't be able to do nothing about it. Where is the crater? Quebec, Canada. They built the case that dinosaurs were wiped out by an asteroid impact. More evidence was needed. A critical piece of missing evidence was the crater itself. Scientists needed to find a crater that was both the right size and the right age to account for extinction. This crater is the Manicouagan crater in Quebec, Canada. It is 85 kilometers wide and 200 million years old, too small and too old to be used as evidence for the dinosaur extinction. So they say that the dinosaur extinction would have created a crater wider than 85 kilometers. The story will explore the evidence that helped scientists hone in on a possible location for the crater. We will visit 10 sites around the globe and examine geological data, including any ejector particles that would have been ejected from the site of an asteroid impact. Look at this, it's got like classroom use and stuff like that, that's cool. Finding the crater, Site 1, Orexta, Spain. At this site, the KT ejector debris from the proposed impact layer is 2 to 3 millimeters thick. It consists almost entirely of tiny soft release. Soft release form when molten debris from an impact is blasted high into the atmosphere. They cool and harden as they fall to the ground. The iridium concentration is 24.4 parts per billion. Dinosaurs are a diverse group of long-lived dinosaur fossils which have been found on every continent, including Antarctica. Wow. This group of herbivores include the heaviest animals to ever walk the Earth. So can we get a view of this crater? So I'm guessing like this is kind of it, is it? Interesting. Okay. Finding the crater, Site 2. The ejector, but this is in Antioch, Alabama, USA. The ejector deposit here is about 5 meters thick and contains sulfuries and impact breccia, which is a deposit of broken up rock. Not all KT sites are exposed cliffs or colourful rock. The rock layers of this site are from boreholes drilled deep into the ground. Scientists found KT samples in a borehole drilled across the street from a church. Tyrannosaurs is a genus of theropods dinosaurs, meaning I think that they stand on their hind legs. They were by far the largest carnivores in their environment and likely were apex predators. In other words, they were at the top of the food chain. Nothing hunted them, they hunted everything. They are estimated to have had the most powerful bite force of any terrestrial animal. Tyrannosaurus rex being the one, I guess, that most people know about there. So do you think like this is kind of like the line there for the crater, maybe? Okay. Okay, finding the crater, site 3. Belloc, Haiti, isn't it? Yeah. The ejecta deposit this site is about 12 centimetres thick, and it contains large shocked quartz grains, iridium, nickel-rich spinels, and tektites. I have no idea what they are. Mosasaurs are a group of marine reptiles that prowled the seas prior to the KT extinction event. They were powerful swimmers and well adapted to the shallow near-shore seas of the Cretaceous period. Kind of look a little bit like a cross between a fish and a crocodile, don't they? So this is Haiti. Okay. So it could be there. Now bear in mind, because it was millions of years ago, it might not be quite so obvious, I guess, where it hit. So this is in the Brazos River, Texas, USA. This site you will find Cretaceous mudstone just below the KT boundary. The mudstone was deposited over millions of years in shallow waters, 50 to 100 metres deep. At this depth, the water would have been calm with fine particles of mud slowly settling and forming layers that hardened over many thousands of years. The deposits change dramatically at the KT boundary. Here the boundary layer is close to a metre thick and consists of tektites and big chunks of rocks, including boulders. Evidence of boulders laid on top of shallow marine sediments is consistent with a tsunami that would have occurred in this area as a result of an asteroid impact. Okay, makes sense. Tsunami just moving everything, basically. You know, if you've ever seen videos of tsunami, especially the kind of fairly recent one in Japan, it is, you kind of look at it and you think, oh, that doesn't look so bad. But then to understand the force that water is, and when it suddenly, because I remember seeing the videos of it, and you kind of see the wave come in, but it's not like, it wasn't like you see in the movies where there's this giant wave kind of coming in. It was just like a higher level of water coming in, and you're like, oh, that doesn't look too bad. But then it hits and it just moves everything, because it has so much force behind it that, you know, only the strongest of buildings can, you know, survive. And quite often, you know, unfortunately, when these tsunamis hit, they often hit places which don't have very strong buildings, and they tend to just destroy everything in their path. Europlocephalus, closely related to the better known Ankylosaurus, is a genus of herbivore dinosaurs that roamed in what is now North America. It was a slow-moving dinosaur and relied on bony plates and a club tail to defend itself from predators. Oh, I think I've seen that in like Jurassic World or something. I'm not exactly a dinosaur expert, by the way, just thought I'd point that out. Finding the crater site 5, Cabezo de la Plata, Spain. At this site, the KT ejecta layer is less than 3 millimeters thick. The clay appears as a dark reddish layer. The ejecta consists of spherules, small shocked quartz grains, and nickel-rich spinels. The iridium concentration is one of the highest among all sites, 56 parts per billion. Hadrosaurs, also known as duck-billed dinosaurs, were widespread herbivores during the late Cretaceous period. They walked on two legs and used their elongated jaws to grind their food. Wow, I guess this is kind of like an agricultural area of Spain. Spain is a very beautiful country. Okay, next we have northwestern Nebraska, US. 4 types of impact evidence are found at this location. Spherules and shocked quartz grains are abundant. The iridium concentration is high, peaking at about 20.8 parts per billion. Triceratops is an iconic 3-horned dinosaur from the late Cretaceous. The functions of the horns and bony frill have been debated by paleontologists. They were originally thought to have served as defences against predators, but the presence of blood vessels have led to the theory that they were for identification, courtship, and displays of dominance, similar to antlers of modern species like elk and reindeer. So, I guess what they're trying to say is, like, if you think of like a rhino horn or something like that, there's no blood vessels in it, it's just solid, like horn. It's actually made out of the same thing as nails. Is it hair? It's something like that anyway. It's not, as you would think, like a bone or anything like that. But what they're saying with this, if you look at like the antlers on like a moose or a deer or something like that, they're not that, like, they actually have like blood vessels and skin over them a lot of the time, and they can, and so they're not that good for defensive. They're more kind of like for showing off, as it were. So finding the crater Site 7, northeastern Algeria. At this location, the KT ejecta layer is less than 1 centimetre thick and contains a small spherules and nickel-rich spinels. The iridium concentration is about 18 parts per billion. Abelosaurus was a predatory theropod similar to the more famous T-Rex. It was smaller and is known for extensive grooves on its skull. Members of this family dinosaur lived in what is now Africa and South America. You can see the grooves on the head there. It's kind of crazy. It's mental to think that, you know, our ancestors had literally no idea that dinosaurs were even a thing. Mental. Northwestern Pacific Ocean. This site provides evidence from deep sea cores. The total length of the core section is about 260 metres and was recovered from almost 2,500 metres below the surface of the water. The KT layer is only a few millimetres thick. 70% of the Earth's surface is covered by oceans. That means a lot of evidence is stored in marine sediments. Although these sediments are only accessible by scientific drilling and coring, they provide valuable records of Earth history because they accumulate slowly and continuously. What's this? Oh, that's just showing us the KT boundary, is it? Okay. Finding the crater Site 9 at Monte Nuevo Leon, Mexico. During the Cretaceous period, this location was a coastal environment. The KT event layer is about 5 metres thick and contains large chunks of rocks. Desert regions have few plants and are therefore great places to see geological features. Based on the thickness of the debris deposit, it is possible that dinosaurs lived in this region may have actually witnessed the impact that would bring about their demise. So I always thought, I don't know why, that was the crater there. So what is this kind of section here, or like maybe around here, was where it was, like kind of around Mexico, the join between America, you know, Middle America and Southern America. Man, imagine witnessing such a thing. I mean, the dinosaurs were not particularly smart, so they wouldn't really know what's going on, but in fact I think it's like the T-Rex had like a brain the size of like a walnut or something like that. Finding the crater Site 10 continental shelf off the coast of South America. This is a deep sea core from about 2,500 metres below the sea level, about 380 kilometres north of Suriname. The KT ejecta layer at the site is about 2 centimetres thick and contains spherules and shocked quartz. The maximum iridium concentration is 1.5 parts per billion. Argentiosaurus, which takes its name from the country where the first fossil example was found, Argentina, is a genus of large herbivore sauropod that lived during the late Cretaceous. Paleontologists estimate that it was nearly 100 feet long and weighed in at around 80 tons, making it one of the largest animals to ever roam the Earth. So where is the crater? More than 350 KT sites are currently known. Based on the 10 you visited, consider the evidence from each site to determine where the site is likely to be close, intermediate or distant from the impact site. Meteor Crater in Arizona is the world's best preserved impact crater. It's only about 50,000 years old and a little over 1 kilometre across. Based on the amount of debris, the KT crater should be over 150 times larger and 1,000 older. Where do you think the scientists searched to find the crater? Do I have to click? Oh. See, I always heard it was around here. The collected evidence from 350 KC sites around the globe support the hypothesis that a 10-kilometre asteroid hit the Earth about 66 million years ago. The impact caused ecosystems to collapse across the entire world and brought the Mesozoic era, the age of dinosaurs, to a sudden and dramatic close. In the first few million years after the impact, only small animals thrived. It was the beginning of the age of mammals. Eventually, larger mammals evolved and dominated the Earth, and among them were early primates whose evolution would lead in a very promising direction, at least for humans. How long is this film? It's only 40 centimetres long, 40 seconds. After years of speculation, the crater had finally been found. It was named the Chicxulub crater after a village built over its centre. Discovery of Chicxulub crater was the ultimate evidence of the asteroid. Oh yeah, okay. And it tied together all the clues that had been gathered over the previous decade. The shot quartz, the tectonite sulfurs that had fallen across the Earth. Moreover, the crater was the same age as the KT boundary, and it was the size predicted by Luis Alvarez. We knew for certain what happened on that horrible day. I mean, horrible for the dinosaurs, but not for us, because we wouldn't exist without it. So there it is. That is the crater. We know now what happened to the dinosaurs, pretty much. Like, as with everything, you don't know for certain unless you were there, which no one was alive today that was there, because it was 66 million years ago. But yeah, that's what happened. An asteroid hit the Earth and just wiped out the dinosaurs, basically. So there you go. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what happened to the dinosaurs. And these are just the little points that we have come up with. Well, thank you so much for watching. As always, it was my pleasure. I'll do a few more of these little Google Earth things because I enjoy it. It's interesting for me. I hope it's interesting for you guys and relaxing as well. But till then, thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.